Hey, Susan Lazar-Hart here, your transformational coach, coming to you every Monday, today live with Ask Susan, your transformational motivational moment. We had an interesting time going for Zoom, going for live, blah, 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 not happening. So I'm not even going there. So I decided after all of that kerfuffle to come live with you because it's not a complete Monday for me unless I honor my commitment to going live at the end of every month. And here we are. And the topic we've been playing with all month has been change. What is change? What isn't change? Creating change. And today it's really on those focused steps that you can choose in creating a life you love. Now, I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee. And away we go. And if you're here live, come and say hi. Don't be shy. How many of you have woken up in the middle of your life asking, is this all there is? Yeah, or many times. I know for myself, I used to ride on my bicycle when I was really little asking, is this it? Go home, get back on my bicycle, ride around, go home, get back on my bicycle, knowing there had to be more. And then I was a mom with kids and loving every bit of it and not loving every bit of it, asking, is this all there is? So I went back to school. I started doing my undergrad. It took me 10 years to graduate, raise my kids, have this amazing partnership with Ricky, then moving on to creating with my master's, having this amazing career as an artist, being in architectural magazines and galleries, and then creating heavy metal poisoning, asking myself, is this it? Like I'd always been left alone because I was a creative and they said, oh, she'll figure it out. And I did, and now it's got to change again. And so I got into healing modalities. I got into studying the body, mind, and soul. I got into getting a degree as a professional coach and counselor. And just recently, I'm diving into Akashic Records. There's always more to learn that we can shift into the changes we've been asking for. So for any of you that have woken up in the middle of your life saying, is that all there is? There's more. Trust me. Let's go on this adventure together. So perhaps you're feeling like you weren't who you were when you thought you were who you were supposed to be. Perhaps you were younger, freer, energetics, were playing with you, enthusiastic, you were a risk taker, and now you're feeling like you've less time, less energy. There's no more freedom for change. Well, where do we go from here? That's my question for you. Where do you go from here? And how do you know if it's right? How do you know, even if I've had clients saying, but how do I even know if I want what I want? Well, over the years, we've adopted roles: mother, father, daughter, sister, brother, he, they, she, whatever that is for you. And in those roles, you've lived up to the expectations, most probably to satisfy the needs of others who are depending on you or just observing you. So what we've forgotten is the self. Now, the self has been autopiloting while performing all of these roles as a priority, to the point that perhaps you no longer recognize who you thought you would be or how to express what it is that you want. So we're going to change all that. With this transformational motivational moment, we're going to dive into 5 or 6 steps in how to actually create the changes that you've been asking for. The first is, it sounds simple, decide to change. You have to choose it. It's not about going back and forth. You have to choose it. This is perhaps the most difficult part of changing your life. So during my travels, I've had many, many, many conversations with people who said to me, Susan, I just want a significant change in my life, but it never seems to happen. Why is that? Well, the truth is, you've got to be committed to it. And change can be tough. It can be really tough. In fact, changing your life may be the most challenging and uncomfortable thing you ever do. I want to change my life. I have to change my life. How do I do that? Well, being comfortable. Well, it's not going to happen. Change can be very scary. I was just studying recently that there are these chemicals in our bodies where the subconscious, when it detects that an unknown like change, it will rush these chemicals into your body. So you have these fears, you're pulling back. But what I'm going to be teaching you today, and as we work together, is how to shift and change out of that subconscious, out of those chemicals, into creating a life you love. So, depending on what you want to change, your dreams may lead you to moving to a different relationship. It might lead to letting go of friendships who you've had for years because they don't actually agree with the changes that you're creating. I love the saying, what people say about me is none of my business, right? You're in the business of creating your life and the changes that you're asking for. In other words, your life means making some tough decisions. So, how badly do you want this change in your life? That's my first question for you. And what are you willing to do and give up to make it happen? Because you can't have both. You can't have the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and I always knew it was possible. Once you decide to change your life, come hell or high water, suddenly anything is possible. How? Learn to embrace discomfort. That's step number 2. So step number 1 is you got to choose. Step number 2 is learn to embrace the discomfort. If you want to learn how to change your life completely, be prepared to say goodbye to your comfort zone. Sorry. Now, there will be moments of joy, exaltation, like, yes, I have this. But the very essence of growth, know this, is to move beyond what you've experienced before. I'm going to say that again. The very essence of growth is to move beyond what you've experienced before. You have to break new ground. Love this quote from Billy Cox, Jimi Hendrix bass guitarist. Life will only change when you become more committed to your dreams than you are to your comfort zone. So get into the habit of stepping out of your comfort zone at every opportunity. For example, don't order the same food twice. Listen to different genres of music. Watch eye-opening documentaries. Sign up for a fitness class. Take a different route home. Text someone you haven't spoken to in years. Embrace change at every turn. I wonder what I could do differently here. It's a great way to play. Number 3, identify what you want to change in your life. So I'm going to challenge you to have 3 columns. When working out how to change your life, it's easier to start by determining what you don't want before exploring what you do. So put everything that you don't want in that column. Write down the aspects of your life you don't like. Do you hate your job? Do you dislike where you live, your social life, your partner, or how you feel most of the time? Are there destructive habits or circumstances that you want to overcome? Don't dwell on them. Don't go down the rabbit hole. Just write them down and move on to the next step. The next step is, what would I love? So what would I not love? What don't I like that's going on? And what would I love? What would I love? And put that down. Put it all down, no matter how crazy. And then define the changes you want to make, right? So you're going to have what you don't like, what would you love, and what changes are required to create that. Now, in between there, I want you to keep asking, what's the value of holding on to what I don't love? What's the value of holding on to what I do love? And what's the value of making the changes that I'm asking for? If you actually sit with those, you'll get a sense of the joy of committing to creating the changes that you're asking for. So define the changes you want to make. What would you love? Let's get creative, right? Let's get creative. How do you want to transform your life? Start a business, move to a new location, change partners, go traveling, make new friends, take up a new hobby, let go of the past. I love that one. Stop procrastinating. Grow your confidence. Stick to a morning routine. I'm a big believer in how you start your day is how your day begins. Right? How is that for you? Whatever it is, as soon as you think of an idea, there may be a voice in your head that tells you all the reasons why your idea is stupid, unrealistic, why it will never work. Don't listen to that voice. That voice is afraid of change. That voice is afraid of change. I'm a big believer in sticky notes. So write down your why. What would I love? What am I willing to commit to? And what's my why? Put it on a sticky note. Put it in where you brush your teeth. This is my why. It could be greater freedom in my life. It could be greater financial freedom in my life. It could be more sex. It could be more sensualness. Whatever that is for you, know your why, because that's going to be your foundation. 3 columns. What I don't love, what I would love, and which one of those is your priority. So know that anything is possible. We've talked about identifying what could hold us back. What would we love? What's our why? Really with the what can hold me back, are there habits, right? Are there reoccurring thought patterns? Are there people in your life that can hold you back? Are you addicted to sugar or alcohol, Netflix, social media, gaming as a way to distract yourself from committing to a life you love? Like, I love doing these with you. I love your questions. As I said, just before I tried the Zoom live to Facebook, it didn't work. And I kind of took a sip of my coffee and I'm like, okay, cool. What would I love? I would love to go live with you. It turns me on. It has you coming to me and asking me questions. And that's by being in the question of your life and living and being committed to being in the question of your life and living, that creates the changes that you're asking for. So, do you beat yourself up with negative self-talk? Are there negative people in your life who are discouraging you from trying something new? So if you're struggling to see what could stop you from transforming your life, consider asking for help. Reach out. Reach out to a friend. Reach out to me. That's what I love about coaching, is being with you and pulling apart what isn't working and then asking truly, what's your next best step here? And strategizing that with clarity, because what we're missing in this life is clarity and focus. No one teaches you that. It's about focusing on what you would love and your why, what you don't love, what you would love, and how to go about making that by choosing your next best step. Again, reach out. Be aware of potential pitfalls before they arise, right? Don't dwell on the bad. Write everything down and move on to your next best step. And again, if that's a problem for you, reach out to me, Susan at SusanLazarHeart.com, and we'll choose your one thing, your next best step, the focus and the why. So when learning how to change your life completely, it's important to remember this process takes time. It doesn't happen all at once. If you try to change too much in one go, you'll likely become overwhelmed, burnt out, and revert to the old ways of being. So conquer one thing at a time. That's what we do in the Congruent Living Academy. We pick up what isn't working, what is, look at it, discuss where the self-transformation comes from, because it's not from out there. That's why I'm having you write down these 3 columns. It's from in here. And if you're interested in the Congruent Living Academy and how you can transform your life in a way from inside to out, again, reach out to me, Susan at SusanLazarHeart.com, and let's have a conversation about what else is possible, about how you can focus on what really turns you on, lights up your life, and creates the changes that you're asking for. Because the thing is, we need to prepare for the storms. To put it another way, you might get stressed about trying all the time. There's many voices in your head that say things like, you'll never change, I'll do it later, what's the point anyway? And again, there might be people in your life trying to influence that. But the bottom line is, change is uncomfortable. So if you really want to change your life, prepare for the storms. How do you do that? Join the Congruent Living Facebook, join the Congruent Living Academy, commit to a community that is achieving the changes that you're asking to make from the inside out. And that way we can support you with additional presence that is often lacking in today's world. So what I really want to share with you at this point is, please come on in with your questions, put them down below, reach out to me if you want to dig deeper, because many people that you're around right now won't like it when you start to make changes in your life. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It doesn't mean anything. It's just change is scary. And it's about being present with transforming your life and building that sphere of influence around you with accountability. So keep in mind this quote from the motivational coach, Steve Maraboli. If you hang out with chickens, you're going to cluck. If you hang out with eagles, you're going to fly. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Whatever you do, don't forget the changes that you're asking for are more than possible. They're already here. They're already here for you. So let's just tie this one up with a bow. What is it that we've been talking about? Decide in your heart to change your life. Come hell or high water. Decide. You've got to choose it. Choose it or lose it. Practice stepping out of your comfort zone and embracing discomfort. Identify the things in your life you want to change and the ones you don't, you want to let go of. Define how you want to transform your life. Identify every possible thing that could prevent you from changing your life. And choose one significant change you want to focus on. One. Help your future self stick with the program by preparing for tough times, by knowing that this will be uncomfortable. And so, again, one of the things we talk about in the academy is accountability to oneself. So where do I go when it gets uncomfortable? What's my go-to? You know, for many of us, we were taught food was a go-to when you're uncomfortable. Alcohol, great place to go when you're uncomfortable. Gossip, great place to go when you're uncomfortable. Well, the thing is, we know none of that really works because that just displaces your attention on something else that you've decided doesn't work for you. So surround yourself with people on your side and think long-term. Be patient and focus on the process. And finally, don't wait to get started. Start now. Reach out to me, Susan at susanlazarhart.com. We're going to talk about the academy. We're going to talk about clarity. We're going to talk about what it is that you're wanting in your life and living. So what changes do you want to make? Let me know in the comments below. Have an amazing day. Live boldly, love greatly. And be that fearless leader you came here to be, because the world needs more of you. Creating the changes that you know are possible so you can shine bright for you, for your world, for the planet, and beyond. Have an amazing day. Thanks so much for coming. Bye-bye.